was actually taken to a comedy show 13 years ago, and they were like, you should do this. And I was like, I could never do that. Like, they write their own material and everything. That was always an actor, so it was like memorizing lines, and I was like, I mean, I could do that, but I couldn't like write. And these were like, no, you should do this. And I was like, maybe. And so I started thinking about it, and I signed up for an open mic, and I went, and I just fell in love with it. Scary, really scary. I had the room that I was performing in held 88 people, and I had like 48 coming out to see me. Like my friends and former coworkers and my cousin and my parents and my husband at the time, like they were all coming to see me, and I was like, I was sitting in the room watching these comics do their open mic, and I'm thinking, they're like real comics. Like, why would I think I could do this? I was like, oh my God, I was scared. I had diarrhea all day. I was throwing up. I was so nervous. I was sick. And I went up, I was very nervous, and I like just started talking, and it was just like the nerves just like melted away. And it was like, this feels right. Just loved it from then. I have recently watched Tom Segura's special, and he's just ridiculous. And I think my favorite comic, I love Tom Segura, he's great, but I also really love Chelsea Peretti. She's awesome. But I feel like I have to say my favorite comic, because he's just evil, is Anthony Jeselnik. I just love him, he's so good. Like, you know, it's kind of ridiculously humor, but I kind of always liked King of Queens. I know that sounds kind of lame, but I'm older, so my frame of reference is, you know, from a while ago. Sketches, of course, I used to love Carol Burnett. She was amazing, you know. You don't get a ton of sketch comedy on TV, but when you do, you know, In Living Color was huge for me. I used to watch those shows Saturday Night Live and just be like, would love to do that. But yeah, those shows are great. Obviously, Jimmy Kimmel Live. I mean, I gave him a shout out. You know, those are great, well written, well directed, and yeah. So I mean, you know, just kind of anything that's well done and put on by good people that are working hard to try to make something fun for people. I really love Melissa McCarthy, so kind of anything she's in is funny. I really, really loved Bridesmaids. That it just kind of struck me as a person who's like that age, who has had a best friend who now has a new best friend. Like, it kind of struck home with me, that movie. So I love that. The movies that I feel like I always have to watch when they're on. Young Frankenstein is a great classic movie. Spaceballs is a great one. Jumanji, even though it's not a comedy, I love that movie. Just movies like that like you really kind of have to go, oh, we're watching this now. The one thing that always sticks in my mind that I laugh, I have a friend, Tom, and he has this joke that he talks about. I don't want to do the punchline or anything for him because I don't want to, but his name is Tom Sims, and he owns the Stir Crazy Comedy Club in Glendale, Arizona. And he has a very funny joke about his French poodle. If you can Google it and find it online, awesome, or see him in person, but I don't want to do his joke. But one thing Jeff Ross always does, it's not like a joke he wrote, so I don't feel like bad saying it, is he does this thing where he asks for them to turn down the lights. And it's like nobody's listening. Here he is at this great club. He's like, can we please get the lights dimmed? And he waits, and they don't turn down the lights, and he goes, perfect. Like, he just gave up waiting. So that always makes me laugh. Something simple like that. That's such a weighted question because there's so many variables. You go, well, would I want to go out with somebody who was really good that I could learn from, or someone who wasn't as good that maybe now all of a sudden I look like a better comic? Or, you know, like you start to think of all those things. God, I guess, I don't know. It's hard to say because I know so many of them personally, and I feel like, oh, I'd love to go out on tour with like someone that I love, like a Jeff Ross or, you know, a Heather McDonald, like people that you've worked with a lot that you know that you really get along with, a Greg Fitzsimmons, Bob Marley, people that you know are good people. But then again, you go, maybe I'd want to go with someone I don't even know, you know, like to kind of, sometimes they ask me to open for people at the clubs at home, like, oh, do you want to open for so-and-so? And I think that would be nice, but I've already opened for them a couple of times. Like maybe give someone else a chance to work with them, and maybe I could work with someone new. So it's kind of, I just kind of go, whatever happens, happens, and I'll take it, you know, either way. I would like to be roasted by nobody because I hate being roasted and it makes me cry. I don't know. You want to be roasted by someone who's not good at it so that you don't feel bad. But I guess the goal here is to basically say, I mean, Jeff Ross, obviously #1 roast master general. He's the guy. Anthony Jeselnik, I don't really know if he does do roast. He would destroy you. Greg Giraldo, you said dead or alive. He was just unbelievable. Brody Stevens just passed away. I don't know if he really did roast though. I feel like Brody was too much of a positive guy to ever really do a roast of any sort. But when you said dead or alive, it made me think of that. Ralphie May is fun. I've seen him. Sarah Tiana, she's fantastic. I've seen her in the roast battles against Ralphie when he was alive. And they battled each other and she destroyed him. So I don't know. There's a lot of really good roasters out there. So it could be anyone. I like improv, it's fun, but I really like sketch comedy, that's fun. But it is work, it's really hard work. As a stand-up, I feel, for me, it's the easiest of the things, because my style is kind of just telling stories about my family, my life, things that have happened to me, bantering with the crowd, so it's not as difficult. I'm not like writing like some of the comics that are super formulating their jokes and their punchlines and tweaking and they're really into it. I'm kind of more like a storyteller, let's have fun, that's more my style. It's a little easier. For me to like do acting or anything, you've got to memorize the lines and think about the person who's casting you, what they want to see, and so it's a little more head work for that kind of thing. But I do like doing it, it's fun, and I like kind of doing a thing that's acting, but it's myself. So like a hosting thing, like where you're like, all right, like what's going on with you, man on the street? Like, okay, so they want me to talk about this, so I'm going to talk about this, but it's me, Jill, talking about it, not like me, Jill, playing a character. As a mom all this time, I have kids, so it's been hard for me to really envision like really touring the road. Like I tour, and I wouldn't say I tour, but I do go on the road. I do travel out of town to perform, but I don't do any like, oh, I'm gone for 5 weeks hitting spot. I haven't done anything like that. I really would love something like that. Now that my kids are older, my son's graduating high school in May, my daughter will graduate next year. So within the next 5 years, I would love to be a touring comic who could say, here's my 6-week chunk of dates, I'm in this, in this town, come see me. That would be great. Right now I'm kind of piecing it together, doing a lot of work at home in Phoenix where I live, at the comedy clubs there that are awesome, and doing a lot of corporate gigs and a lot of hosting and emceeing for different fundraisers and things like that. And I do out of town, like we're here in Florida, Christy B, she's got Christy B Comedy, she booked me to come. We met a couple years ago, and it was just like, oh yeah, I'll come, and we've had a great time. So even small shows in small towns are fun, you know, as a comic. It's like, as long as you've got a crowd that's willing to laugh, it doesn't really matter if you're at a 600-seat venue or a bar that holds 90, but they only have 60 chairs. And so if you want to bring your own chair, come on out, you know? So it's fun. I think comedy's just good kind of anywhere, as long as you've got a crowd that's into it. On Twitter and Instagram, I have the same name. I did that, so if you tag me in one, you could find me in the other. I just have it at It's Me, Jill Kimmel. I'm pretty active on Instagram, a lot of pictures, and you'll find out where my shows are and that kind of, a lot of pictures of my dog. And Twitter, I'm on there, and not crazy active, but fairly active. And then I'm on Facebook. You can find me on Jill Kimmel Comedy. And then every like 2 weeks or so, I put out a video called What a Mouth, and I do like a little ranting, talking about something. This week it's going to be about going to the beach, because I was at the beach, I could get some footage, and little things like that. You have all my videos on my Jill Kimmel Comedy page on Facebook. I like them to feel like they just came into the break room at work, and I was there, and they were getting coffee, and they leave the break room feeling like, I hope she's in here next time I have a break, because she was funny. That's what I want them to feel like. So April 26th and 27th, I'm doing a comedy experience in Las Vegas. We're doing it in downtown Vegas, Nevada. And Zappos is our sponsor, and we've got some really great comics on the lineup. We've got Brett Ernst, who's a Florida boy, Amir K, and yeah, Ernst is fantastic, yes. We've got Amir K, we've got Ryan Sickler, Brian Tobler, Andrew Slater, Allie Breen, Kate Quigley, a lot of really good comics. And then our headliners, we've got Garfunkel and Oates and Christopher Titus. The tickets are $12. Yeah, and they're going to be going on sale soon. It's called Double Down Comedy Experience. If you follow us on Instagram, Double Down Comedy, you can find out all the details there. We've just got like the flyer up now, and we're waiting for the link to be created. It's a lot of legal stuff they have to go through. And then we'll have the tickets on sale, and that's going to be a really $12 to see Christopher Titus and like insane. So I'm excited about it. So check out my video on cutiepie.com. I would love to have you check it out, see a little more about me, follow me on social media and that kind of thing. Little known tidbit about me. I had a turtle a couple years ago named Cutie Pie. So follow me, and my nickname is Jilly Pie. So this is like fate.